It's been a big day, and we've just finished the ladies of the women's competition, but back to the men again here at the Dubai Sevens, and it's Scotland up against Japan. A very important game this for the Scottish side, and well, they'll be looking to get a very solid victory if they can against Japan, because so much depends on basically points difference. And after this, Samoa will be playing. They're in the same group, so it's a pretty tough one. Scotland having beaten Samoa 21-14 and then lost to New Zealand by 43 points to 0, and that really has put them back somewhat. The Japanese losing both their games, 36-0 against New Zealand and 38-12 against Samoa. Lost at the Gold Coast Sevens, Japan, the first leg of the HSBC World Series, and Scotland were 11th in that competition. So the Japanese coming out in their multicolours, and certainly lots of supporters here for the Japanese too. Pretty much all the teams do have a fair level of support. Having a look there at the series, basically the record, you can see that Scotland obviously a much better record than Japan, who's still very much on the learning curve. 28% win ratio, which is nothing to write home about. Nick Bryant from New Zealand is the referee for today's match. Alongside me, former Scottish international, Scott Hastings.
Well, a lot of expectation on both these teams. Japan fancy taking on Scotland. Scotland need to rack up some points and play with some more consistency. We'll see how the game unfolds now.
I guess they want to lay foundation first very much before they unleash, if that opportunity comes their way. But certainly the Japanese will look to be up to it. The key thing for them is that they really have made some basic errors which have let the opposition in and opened up things. Scott Riddell with that ball downfield. It's Scott White now in possession. Quite happy to move backwards, Scotland, and then maybe find some pace and some width in this particular game. Japanese just hanging on for what they're worth, but they're not going to catch. He has a real chance, and Colin Gregor, the all-time point scorer, record point scorer for Scotland, looking to finish this off.
Yeah, Scotland's most experienced player here, Colin Gregor, dotting down between the sticks, and he latched onto Scott Riddell's break and handoff, and he delayed his pass superbly, didn't he? Let's have a look at here. James Johnson with that offload. It was actually Mark Robertson onto Colin Gregor. And Mark Robertson with that delayed just offload that allowed Gregor in under the post.
So a good solid start this for Scotland. Gregor making 100% sure. Right up front he is for the conversion and taking his time with getting it down. Playing in his 52nd tournament. Quite unreal that he made his debut back in Hong Kong in 2002. Have a look at those standings there and have a look at the points difference. That's the important thing. Scotland aware of the fact that they need to post as many points as possible and then wait for the result of the next match. Japan's Takashi Suzuki with the throw-in. Lineouts have never been a favourite for the Japanese. This time they absolutely get their timing right, but the knock-on coming there. Pass down from Shunya Gota. But those are the basic errors we were talking about.
Yusuke Kawazura in the Japanese liner. He did everything correctly, gave the pass. It was just a little bit short, a little bit delayed, and that forced the knock-on.
Gregor with a put-in. Scott White standing off at fly half. Out to James Johnston. Scotland quite happy to attack from depth here against the Japanese. Now, standing up is James Eddy. Another chance here for them, and the Japanese having to make an enormous number of tackles. Again, it's James Eddy. Got up quickly, and now it's a foot brace for the line. James Eddy, can he hold on? And that ball might be out. The referee says, general play, off you go. And the Japanese turning it over at a vital time for them too. Scotland just fanning across the field to make sure they've got their defensive lines. The Japanese can't make a mistake in this sort of area. Here's some great defence from Scotland, taking them virtually into touch in goal. Well, this could be a try to James Eddy, and it certainly is.
Well, surely that is the easiest try that we've seen this afternoon. James Eddy, he had a wee sprint down the wing with ball in wrong hand and got caught, but on that occasion, well, he's puffing and panting, the big Glasgow Warrior, now in playing and trying to look at this great play by Scotland, forcing Japan into that error. The pop pass there from Hano into the grateful hands of James Eddy.
100 kilograms, nothing was going to stop him. He got his little Christmas present, but he did all the hard yards, though, Scott, that's what he'll tell you, in the lead up to that try. So this is a really good start, this, for Scotland. 2 converted tries.
Well, the last time this team wore this colour of jersey, they came back from 14-0 down against Samoa in the opening tie this morning and won 21-14. So perhaps it's the lucky jerseys for Scotland, pink and blue.
Well, they played outstandingly too in that first up game, and then unfortunately they couldn't hold the onslaught of New Zealand in the next.
Yeah, it was interesting, Gavin, they got beaten by 43 points to 0, and I was speaking to Scott White, and that's him with the ball there, just throwing it back to Gregor, and they were just saying they were so disappointed with their attitude in that game. They kind of froze, made a couple of mistakes, and New Zealand are the one team that will just absolutely open you up if you don't perform to your best level.
Well, they'll be pleased with the matters as they stand at the moment. Some pressure there. Now again, White's got the opportunity to use the width there with James Johnston. Lovely little run around, excellent from White. No one to pass to. There was such good continuity this morning with Scotland offloading in the tackle against Samoa. Certainly I'm sure that a lot of their training has been dependent on keeping continuity with their play. They've done it rather well. Mark Robertson with the pass. Now a little bit of space sought. And, well, it's going to be a run-in, and this is a relatively easy one, but a really good start this with Scott White going in for the third try.
Yeah, great wraparound by Scott White round the support of the movement here. So Scott White, he captained the Glasgow Warriors side in a winning performance in the Melrose Sevens in April earlier this year, a team that also included Carlin Isles, and Carlin Isles, of course, playing for the USA team today.
So Colin Gregor, can he make it 3 out of 3? It's another good kick there, considering the percentage of goals kicked at the Gold Coast was 64%, which is maybe a little low. Scotland with a quick take from the halfway line, and another opportunity. Here comes James Johnston, and a little sidestep, a little shimmy, and it's another try. That's try number 4.
Yeah, James Johnson did well, but Scotland were far more alert than the Japanese players here. Look at Scott White, lovely little drop kick, picks the ball up, delayed his pass there, and Johnson, well, he made a good step, didn't he, round the covering defence from Japan. Simplicity there for Scotland, and it's one of these ones that Japan have to be alert to this, and that's where their inexperience shows.
Well, certainly with Sakai there, let the man step inside him. Colin Gregor's kicking exploits continue. Some outstanding play from him, but 4 tackles missed by the Japanese in this first half, and they'll be ruining that, because 4 times 7 essentially gives you the 28 that Scotland have scored. 4 tries in the first half. Excellent play from the Scottish team. So Callum McRae, the coach of Scotland, and Tomohiro Sagawa, coach of Japan, will have a few words in the huddle.
まずやっぱアタックしましょう。OK。セブンズやっぱアタックしないとやっぱ入ってこないんで。まずアタックしましょう。あとエリア考えよう。一回2つ蹴っても構わないから。
Well, a little bit of emotion there in the Scottish camp. Always amazes me how the Japanese just look so relaxed. But anyway, it's part of a learning curve. A beautiful shot there of the moon. So the ball has mainly belonged to Scotland in this game. 22 passes completed to just the 5 of the Japanese, who've been very much in defensive mode in this match. Scott White to start the second half. That ball not quite going 10, so back they'll come to the halfway, where you restart with a free kick. And the Japanese, and really Scotland, don't want to give away any points. In fact, they want to pile on some more if they can. So the quick tap then changed there to Suzuki, and then on to the captain Sake. This is good running from Japan. Well, whatever was said at half-time by Segawa, he's really got some inspiration here for the Japanese.
Work on the deck by Scott White as Colin Gregor then taps and goes.
And once again the key there to the quick take from Colin Gregor, ever alert just to make sure that they keep going, put the pressure on the opposition. And now the belt down the line from Lee Jones. He hasn't really touched the ball as of yet in the game, and in he goes for try number 5 for Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland noted as a passing team, and Lee Jones dots down for that try. 24 passes completed in this tie so far. Lee Jones, former Scotland international winger, now plying his trade for the Scotland Sevens team on the wing and playing well.
Well, as they say, there's no substitute for pace, especially when you've got a little bit of room to move in again. I just wonder if anybody's kicked every single conversion in any game of sevens when more than 5 tries have been scored. That would be an interesting statistic.
I'm sure our friends at Hourglass Vision with Sean Glover will be providing us with a little bit of paper to confirm that statistic.
See if they're up to it. So White's kick there going into space, and well, that could have meant another try there as Scotland came belting through. Japan again trying to work their way from very deep, passing not always that accurate, but now they've found a little bit of space. And here's an opportunity for them now. They don't have any real gas men in this side. And, Scotland with a cover defence. Outstanding play there from Colin Shaw, who's come on. Still Japan. They're not going to give up. Long pass there to Kawazura. Scotland making 100% sure of those tackles. Change of direction. They're very nippy, of course, the Japanese. In and out, sleight of hand and quick on their feet.
Yeah, they're having to work so hard because Scotland's defensive alignment has been reset so quickly.
Well, Scotland certainly again showing excellent effort at the breakdown point.
Yeah, one of their senior players, Colin Shaw, good covering tackle there. He taps and goes, and Scott White, well, is the wide pass.
Just commanding proceedings is Scott White. He's done really well in this game. He's been the perfect link. And here comes another try to Mark Robertson. So certainly the tries are piling up, and the conversions too, courtesy of Colin Gregor, just extending that record of his of top point scorer for Scotland. Just looking to take his time. Yeah, the guys are pretty much out on their feet. 3 matches in one day. It's very tough going, and they've been tough ones too. It's been pretty warm here in Dubai. And Budgie looking to keep up his 100% record.
Well, Mark Robertson, his father Keith, played in the centre and on the wing for Scotland, and well, it was great to see Mark back to his full fitness. He suffered a leg injury a number of seasons ago and decided to go over to America, got it seen to, and now back to his best. A nice mazy runner, and certainly this Scotland team looking fit.
And also made sure that he educated himself very well with an MSc. So Scotland, Japan again just battling their way, trying to get some points, but it's 42 points to 0 right now, and Scotland would like to get up to the 50 mark if they can. Good support play, and they've used the width of the field well today, have Scotland too. That's where Japan perhaps defensively haven't been that well organised.
You maybe heard Colin Gregor just shouting over the referees, might move it there. He wants Scotland to play a wide game, and that's reflected in some of the stats and the passes. 28 passes Scotland have completed against the Japanese 17, so it's obvious with the scoreline who's been in command of this particular game.
Yeah, as you said, Scott, of course, Scotland is well known as well for moving the ball around. A couple of changes. So just under 2 minutes left then. Japan nowhere to move there for Sakai. I just wonder why the Japanese don't think about a little chip kick over the back, because no one was sweeping originally. Colin Gregor's gone into that position right now to try and close them off. I guess because they've had so little possession, they'd rather hold on to it where they can. But here comes Scotland again, and another opportunity for them. Well, it's Gregor himself, and into the corner. Second try of the match then for Colin Gregor.
Well, Gregor's really shown his mark and his class in this game. He's been directing operations and out sprints. The attention of Surugazaki.
22 points already in this game for Colin Gregor. As we said, an unblemished kicking record. The referee just telling him he's got 10 seconds to complete this conversion. He's got all of his kicks over. Is this one going to make it too? Nah. So basically it was 6 out of 6 and then 6 out of 7.
Well, wanting one more effort from the Scotland team. You saw that finger in the nice all-time point scorer. Quite a remarkable achievement.
It's a remarkable achievement as well for the time span that he's played. Been 14 years, or in fact 12 years. And in the background, the hooter. So Nick Bryant is going to call time on this game, and Scotland then with an emphatic victory over Japan. They'll be very pleased with that result. 7 tries they scored, with 6 of them converted. And well, it's in the hands of the guards right now, because the next up match is between Samoa and New Zealand, and the Scots will be watching and hoping that Samoa do not post too many points. The statistics will reveal a fairly one-sided game, as we can see there. Scotland using the ability to pass the ball. They've held on to it pretty well, and the Japanese unfortunately missing a lot of tackles. And then individually, Scotland looking very, very